Hey guys, Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com. And in this interview, we are going to have a conversation with Rushi, who is one of the interns of the batch 8 of the Digital Deepak internship program. So, hi Rushi, how are you?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Deepak. It's great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Fantastic. So, tell me, Rushi, how did you end up discovering about the program? Did anyone refer to you? Did you see an ad online?
Yeah. So basically, back in November, in fact, back in October. So actually, I'm trying to build an online platform where I'm gonna educate on trading and investing topics. Initially, I was doing it for my friends, colleagues, in normal, casual ways. But I have seen a lot of people requesting, they referring for their colleagues, their friends. So all of a sudden, I have seen a lot of such. So I'm unable to give the same answers or same knowledge for each person. More or less, the conversation is same, the gnan is same. So I feel that let me start a blog so that more people can view it, irrespective of the number of people. So that's how I started of thinking starting a blog. I bought a domain and started building these little things. But I felt that if I want to do it in a big scale, I need few skills which I have to improve, which I don't have as of today. So that's how I started discovering a few things on YouTube. But in a conversations with one of my old friend, he told me that so I had figured out these are the skills which I should be learning in order to make this as much as big possible. That's how he told me that, hey, this is all into like digital marketing, like different things. So I told that I'm gonna learn all these things. I told that is a website called Digital Deepak. So he's a very popular in Bangalore in these areas. So that's why I just Googled Digital Deepak. The first it showed. So I gone for the organic search. I just saw there are like 100 days blog. I enrolled for that. After that, so I think that's how the October month passed, and then I came to know that there's an internship program which is going to happen for like 12, 16 weeks, and so we can enroll. So then that's how I asked him. He told me that yeah, it's free of cost, but we pay upfront, and you will be getting a cashback. I felt that yeah, this is good, and I read all the things on the landing page that made sense. So that's how I enrolled. So when we have that webinar, so I think I'll be in the top three or top first who paid fees first, and that's all.
Glad to know that it was through a reference that you came, because now I am seeing more and more people joining the program because somebody referred them to the program rather
Correct.
than me advertising and trying to get customers.
Yeah,
When you go beyond 10,000 customers, most of the customers will come through referrals because the customer acquisition cost will increase so much with paid ads.
exactly,
We
exactly,
have taken the early adopters. So now we are looking
exactly,
at the early majority, coming to the
exactly, exactly. Correct, correct. So more
so
or less, I had the same discussion with Vaibhav CCP. He's saying that I'm charging like $500 per you, but I already paying like 600 rupees to
yes.
just acquire you. But I can break even on unit economics because I'm getting the referrals as
Upsell.
well.
Yeah,
So that's
upsell
how
is there,
he
and then
mentioned to us.
referrals wise, it'll kind of average out.
Exactly.
Yes, yes. So, how has been the experience as soon as you joined the program for the first 1 month? Was it exceeding your expectations? And I'm pretty sure that when you came into the program, you might not have expected the training videos to be so in depth. But once you watched the first 3 videos, what was your feeling? What was your reaction?
I think even before I enrolled, I saw that the quality content already been on YouTube, where there is an hour-long videos, 2 hour, 3 hour videos. I felt that if a person is able to make a 3 hour long video, he has a quite few knowledge on that particular subject. So because I can speak about investing and trading for hours together. So because I feel that I have enough fundamentals as well as the practical exposure. So that's how reflects for the any subject for that matter. That gave me a great credibility. So I opted for it. So after that, the first 2 weeks were more or less the getting the fundamentals right and getting that mindset. This is going to be a 10 week and 16 week program. So we have to be focused for the next 10 weeks. So I'm also preparing my mind to be focused on this for the next 10, 15 weeks. So after that, I started more since I was also very active on marketing side. The marketing fundamentals gave me a totally different exposure. So because the main thing to master anything is to have the fundamentals. So because no matter what, fundamentals won't change over a long period of time. That has kick started me, and I think from there there is no looking back, except for one back and forth for FB ads. A lot of times account is getting disabled, getting banned, again chatting with support team. So these things.
Interesting. So, how was the experience of doing the assignments? And was it like
Yeah.
giving you a momentum in terms of actually implementing it practically? And like, for example, we had an assignment that, hey, you should find your personality type. Those things are definitely out of the syllabus of typical digital marketing, but I felt that it was important for, each and every person to be successful. So what the character type are you, by the way?
So basically, I thought of getting into freelancing, but I felt that let me test and try with corporates money to learn everything. So then I can start from my own. But to put it in, to summarize the answer in one single statement, it just kept pushing boundaries for each and every assignment. So that is a challenging as well as and at the same time it's giving me more knowledge, so which I don't have so far in my life. But I have, but it's more like a theoretical part by reading a couple of random blogs on online, but where I didn't imply anything by myself for my clients, or got a little bit of freelancing as well. But I felt that those were not scaling up. So because every freelance gig I'm getting, I'm doing the repetitive stuff. There is no automation going into it. So I felt that okay, let me get more credibility by adding more big corporates to my profile. Then over a period, maybe 2 years down the line or 1 year down the line, I can start doing it as a full time.
So enough of talking about the program. Tell a little bit more about you, what you do, and how you got into this field.
So basically, I'm a hardcore sales guy, but somehow after like 2017, when I started a social networking app, I felt that tech can automate anything if you have right mindset and if you have a right user flow or whatever thing. If you are able to solve that particular problem, tech has the ability to automate anything. So that's how I got very fascinated about technology. So we ended up starting an social networking app. But somehow we are unable to scale it. So because the whole tech part being outsourced, but we founders don't know anything about technology. After failing that, then I came to know that okay, so we can't build a tech product without an in-house tech guy.
Yes.
So I stopped trying out for new things, and I made my mind very clear that if I want to start in future, right from day one, I have to be the tech co-founder with me. So I was trying different things. I was into trading, I was investing, but I was also doing a little bit of freelancing stuff, all these things. But the great going came when I had a first conversations with Smallcase, that's my previous company, with CEO. So they asked me to, why don't you join us? But I thought that let me take a sign. That's how the thing created. So after going there with lot of data, with lot of users, with lot of user personas, every user has different goals, and how we are going to solve all these different user problems as far as investing is concerned. Then I got a sense about the a big user centric app or a user based markets. So then I started developing more into this. So I contributed quite a lot there. But still, somewhere in my mind, it felt that this is not a scalable activity to drive sales or to drive revenue. There should be something automation should happen, if not today, at some point of time. So then that's how I started developing this thing. So I felt that if we are able to communicate in such a way, so we no need to have a sales team at all for any company, provided it is so new or this something like that. But we can still have a very small inside sales team. But we a revenue should not be depending upon the sales team. Revenue should always depend upon the product. So I developed my mind in such a way. So that's how I got into the products. That's how I got into marketing. So finally, I ended up into product marketing and a growth hacker role. So I'm like, they call me as a growth hacker, but I don't feel that growth hacker is neither a designation or a role. It's more like a mindset. Yes, exactly.
So when you said that we need a tech co-founder to do things and we cannot really outsource tech, you are like bang on, because what I have discovered, my own journey was that it's very difficult to get someone to develop tech for you by just paying them. They are never going to care. Like, what if the app goes down 11 in the night? If you have a co-founder who has equal responsibility and equal ownership, he's going to make sure that it works. And that's why for our company also we have a CTO, and he is also a co-founder, and he has more than 15 years experience in tech and development, which I don't think I can have that level of experience starting from scratch right now. And it's very impossible to, I wouldn't say impossible, but almost very difficult to be good at the marketing, content, sales side of things, branding side of things, and also on the tech side of things. We have people like Elon Musk who are both in the same person. But I think most of the multi-billion-dollar companies have been founded by one guy who was like this sales, marketing, branding, evangelist type of person who is like the face of the organization, who is like the CEO. And then you have like a very strong tech guy who doesn't need to be worried about going out in the market, managing that brand perception, marketing, PR, all this, so that he can focus completely on just building the best product that can be built. So I think I'm lucky to have a very good tech co-founder. In fact, he is the one who is developing the learning management system, automated payments using API. Everything is handled by him. Without him, Digital Deepak wouldn't be a brand that it is today.
Great to know the internal things.
Yes. Yeah, it's like a teamwork. We are a team of 15 people, and Digital Deepak is just the face of the brand. And eventually, it will be more focused on Learn Today as a brand, which is the company. And Digital Deepak will be one of the trainers on Learn Today brand, along with other trainers. But for now, it's just Digital Deepak, which is like the front end of the brand. Fantastic. So right now you said you are into product marketing, and let's put it this way: you have a growth hacking mindset. So what is it that you are exactly working on? And because of the internship program, training videos, what is the result that you have seen in terms of mindset or application that you are doing?
Exactly. When I thought the main idea came from like I should build something with zero sales team. So the mindset started with that. So it's a big challenge for me since it's in a finance related startup or finance related blog, whatever I can say. So I'm going to start with a blog, but the idea is to get into a mass audience in next couple of quarters, in next couple of years, if not in quarters. The main idea is to build a product in such a way where they can connect with each other, and at the same time they are able to solve a problem by app itself or the product itself. So I started with that. So in order to get to that particular goal, I have to learn a lot of new skills. I have to learn a lot of unlearn few things which I already know. So basically, I'm just differentiating these things, and at the same time, I found a lot of material on online on YouTube, few blogs which are like free of cost. But I felt that okay, so this is literally a 10 minutes blog, but it gave me a lot of things. Just because of that, reading the 10-minute blog, I am able to write a 5-minute blog, and which was read by some other person in his office, and he has referred to his CEO, and he ended up contacting me through LinkedIn, and that's how the things has took off. But I felt that if we are able to think constantly about the different products and different user mindsets, we can definitely go ahead and make real impact on their products, on our products as well.
So is there a product name that you have? Is there a website which is functional that we can have a look at?
Sure. It's currently it's ekincare.com.
Can you spell it?
Sure. I'm just typing on the chat.
Yeah. Ekincare. Nice. So new age health benefits for corporate programs, like it's a corporate thing. And
but as a team member, I'm working on the B2C side of the product. So basically they acquire a lot of these employees, but they are on the platform, but they are doing nothing. They are not taking any actions. So here my role is to first retain them, educate them, and then slowly monetize them. So my core responsibility is laying at retention and monetization.
Fantastic. So user retention and I think overall goal will be to improve the NPS rating of the brand itself.
Exactly.
So how long have you been working here?
Just a couple of days.
Just a couple of days. Oh, so fantastic. So you got the job recently here?
Yeah. So previously I used to work on different things, but I ended up accepting this. But I felt that since because of this so much gnan, I have a lot of the companies has came my way, but it is a bit hard for me to like choose only one among like 4 or 5 options.
Fantastic. So you had multiple offers and you chose one offer out of all the thing, and I think you wanted to work in this company. So where is this company based out of, and when was it founded? Because I see some really big name clients here. Looks very impressive. The website also looks very impressive.
This company is based out of Hyderabad. So the founder has, when he came back to India, so he used to work in US. When he came back to India, so he found that problem that when he want to take care of his family people, they don't have enough medical records. So he ended up creating this for NRIs initially. Then the same problem existed in India, and they are also ready to pay. So then they have scaled.
Fantastic. So what do you look forward to applying from the learnings of the Digital Deepak internship program to your job in the next 3 months? What are the ideas that are running in your head in terms of helping them grow with marketing?
So when the task they gave me in the process of interview, so they gave me so what you will be doing in the first 3 months. So I have told that these are the things. So they gave me an access for mobile app, so where I can see what's happening in the mobile app. Then I figured out like there is a lot of disturbance in this particular page. Exactly, I don't know what kind of action I should be taking here, and which should eventually result into a good action, which help user as well as the company on revenue basis, for user on problem solving basis. So I just wrote a big doc and gave them. So first I segregated the users and what kind of things we should be doing for this particular user, what kind of things we should be doing. So user segmentation happened, and trying to reach out, communicate them in a personalized way, so that the effect will be high. I think it's one of the assignment in week as well.
Yes,
So that's how I learned it.
Applying deep marketing principles to this particular job will kind of give very good results.
Exactly. And I used the same, I think week 3 or week 4. I used for my trade markets thing as well. That also gave me around like 25 signups, and out of which 2 people ended up paying. But after that, I stopped it. So because I just don't want to do it for sake of that monthly money, but I want to do it in a big way. So till I acquire those many set of users, I'm going to do all these things for free. I'll write a great quality content, and I'll try to speak on one-on-one, at least on Saturdays and Sundays. So I just changed the plan by in the middle of January. So now it's totally free, and any person can view anything. So the main idea is to segment, and I'm like divide and rule concept. So over a period of time, once I'll also start acquiring the top of the funnel guys. So since they onboard the new employees on the all these things, and going forward to get into a mass kind of thing. So there is a referral program. If you have an access for it, you can add your parents or your friends or anyone for that matter into that. So they will be under you. Even if you leave the company, the access will be with you through your personal ID, so that you will become a customer forever. So I'll be working on this B2C category. So there is a separate team who works on B2B. So their job is to just acquire, go on the big corporates.
So apart from working here, I think you are doing something else related to trading. So tell us a little bit more about that.
I started this back in 2016, this trading and investing stock market thing. But my mindset when I started back in 2016 is to just make that quick money. So because I have to pay my college fees, which I have used for my personal things, so I have to pay that 40K college fees ASAP. But I don't know how to get that, and I can't ask anyone. So because back then it's a 40K is big money for me. So I thought that let me do one thing. I have 10K so that I can make some quick money in stock markets. But after researching for a right broker, stock broker, I understood the pain of these things, and so I can be totally wrong as well. So that's why I told in to my parents that I just use that money, so I need money to pay fees. So then I constantly unconsciously started learning about different things in stock market. So the best website I got was the Zerodha Varsity. So I ended up meeting a person who works at Zerodha. He asked me that I stayed in his room for a couple of days in Bangalore. He asked me like, "What are you doing? Why are you here?" I've been here to get my broker account, but these are my requirements. I don't want any advisory. I don't want any messages coming into me. So I just want to trade whatever hits to my mind. So he told me that then why don't you open account with us? So because we don't provide any advisory kind of thing, so we just give a platform. You can do whatever you want to. So I just asked the other person, is he saying truth or false? So he said that yeah, that's true. I ended up opening an account. He told me like you can go through this particular blog, so which has an abundant man. So that's how I learned. So for next three and a half months, I just used to watch CNBC TV 18 channel right from morning to evening, and reading blog in the night. That's how I made my own notes, and I started. That's how I came into the stock market ecosystem.
Fantastic. Very nice to hear that. And so are you going to build a personal brand in this niche? Is that the goal going forward?
Yeah, I'm trying to build two websites, one for freelancing, where I'll be consulting for growth related activities, and one for a personal brand, where I'll be the face of this particular trade markets, and have few plans where when we are going to launch app, have few plans to change the name into a different category. So because this has become super niche, just in trading and investing, but the app will be more into a personal finance space.
Got it. Nice.
But it's a long way to go, and I have to work hard as
Big dreams. Fantastic. All the best for that. So any
well.
final
Thank you.
questions or any thoughts you want to share before we wind up?
I think I mean like you almost shared everything on your blogs, on channels, all these things. So, but when you decided that I'm going to sell my motorcycle blog for $25K, what is your mindset or what state of mind back that day?
So I felt that obviously it was a risk that I was taking, and have been known to take such risks in my life often, where you have to let something that you have go so that you can make space for new things to happen. One of the things that I could see that as display advertising, you cannot really scale that business much as a publishing medium. We can see that, let's say, for example, your story, they are completely reliant on advertising. And since display advertising was not paying them enough money, they ended up charging money for all the press articles that they were writing from the startups, for which they also got a little bit of bad name. So as publishing, how do you make money? You are getting people's attention. And when we think about the CATT funnel, what am I transacting in the bike advice audience, right? They come to the site, they read reviews of motorcycles. So imagine if I had my own motorcycle company, maybe having a motorcycle blog will become a marketing channel for it. So at that time, it was very easy to get traffic, but then the traffic getting also became a little bit challenging. And then I decided that, see, I am publishing articles, I'm getting $2,000 a month, which was pretty good at that time because that was my full-time job. I was, doing a lot of free travel courtesy of the motorcycle manufacturers. I used to get media passes for the Auto Expo. I went to China for a free trip. But again, all these things will not scale in a parabolic way, like a startup, where I cannot take that advertising money and put it back into the funnel and make, whatever I make. Like, for example, right now, let's say I put X on the top of the funnel, I get 1.2x at the bottom of the funnel. I can keep doing that and I can grow that machine, right? That was not possible with Bike Advice. So obviously, I started it on my free time. It became a business in itself. We had 5 people working for us. A lot of people around me were thinking that I just got lazy, so I'm selling and thinking of doing nothing. But especially my parents didn't understand. They didn't understand when I said I'm not going to a job. They didn't understand when I said I'm selling this. Obviously, these things they are not able to wrap their head around. But I sold it anyway, and that kind of created space for me to work as an employee in different organizations in Bangalore, where I ended up getting a lot of experience. And every time I quit my job, obviously there was a little bit of trouble at home. Like, why are you quitting a job? Why are you quitting a job? Are you planning to like just do nothing? The thing is that whenever you quit what you are doing and get into a space where you have nothing to do, there is a lot of blank space, then automatically something gets created out of it. So 2016, again, I had a final quit. So it was like 2012, I had a job, then I quit in 2013. Then 3 months I was working on my own project. Then again, I had a job. I learned something, got bored out of it, quit, started something. I started a digital marketing agency back in 2014, 2015 as well. It didn't really work well. Then I got a job again. And since I built my personal brand, which is Digital Deepak, even though I had a very bad work history, I mean, it's very obvious that I won't be a good employee. I have not even worked for an entire year in any company. But since I had a very strong personal brand, people felt like, okay, this is a very valuable resource. We cannot let him go. And Razorpay was where I completed an entire year. And I got some stocks also vested, which is still very valuable right now. That was the only company which kind of really grew fast after that. So I somehow made it, completed 1 year, quit, again started Pixeltrack, and now we are about to shut down Pixeltrack and completely focus on Learn Today and stop doing the agency work. So I think destroying what you have built is very important to make space for the new. And I have never hesitated, quitting something or like selling off something. And I don't know, maybe someday I might sell my company also if it gets a very good valuation. And again, start from scratch in a completely new field with the experience I have got. It could be in like God knows what. It could be in biotechnology for all you know. But a lot of people have that fear of starting from scratch. But I'm ready to start from scratch, even if I'm 40, 50, 60. I just want to keep it alive. It cannot, you cannot end up building a monster that controls you. You have to kill that monster at some point. Or sell the shell of that monster, right? So,
I really love the last statement.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, for me, end of the day, being in good health and having free time is the ultimate wealth. Yes, if I make some money, I might buy a BMW or a two, but end of the day, that's not the goal. And I am definitely not doing anything for social status or anything, because that is something I think I took some time to, get control over. Now I have come to a point I don't, give a dash ass about what other people think of me. And for a lot of people who are building their career, building their business, catching up with the Joneses becomes very important. Comparing themselves to other people, achieving a certain level of let's say gar gadi, all that. And I think that is a trap. That is a social trap, and it is very hard to stay out of it. And I think with a lot of years of experience and maturity, I have been able to get out of it, but it still tries to keep trapping me. It's very easy to get into that I want to appear successful rather than be successful thing. So I think more of my focus and work is on how do you make the best out of whatever days you have remaining, and do what you love, do what you enjoy. So yeah, that's what I have learned. And there is never something like a right decision or a wrong decision. They are just decisions, and every decision will lead to something else, which might not have happened if you have not taken that decision. So there is no such thing as good or bad. So yeah, I will try to save myself from appearing too philosophical, but
yeah, this makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, career design and career choices is something that I think people should focus more on, especially in the process of decision making. Because for me, success is not what other people define what it is. See, if I want to have a 5-year vacation and I end up having a 5-year vacation and read maybe 500 books, and if if that is success for me, then I am successful, right? People might say that okay, he has become lazy, he has retired, and now he is not successful anymore. That is what people say. But for me, it could be successful. If my focus is to grow a vegetable garden and I do a good job at it, then I'm successful at it. If my goal is to raise a family, then I'm successful at it. Or if my goal is to just quit something and I end up quitting it, then I'm successful at it. So I wouldn't say I've become a narcissist, it's a balance. It's a functional narcissism, right? You have to be functional, but you have to be narcissistic as well. You cannot end up trying to live someone else's life, which I feel I have wasted almost 5 to 10 years of my life, trying to be that person which other people find as successful. So in fact, a lot of these things are coming from this book called The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. And I'm a fan of Robert Greene books. So I keep reading that. And every time I read it, I'm like, I literally feel like enlightened. So yeah, so that's I'm more like constructing or designing my career than just designing my product or
Exactly.
designing my,
Yeah.
that's also design, right? Designing your
Yeah.
life and your career.
Correct.
So that's where most of my focus nowadays is going on. Touch wood, God's grace, business is doing very well, and I have an excellent team. So last 1 year was like just grinding, and that has created these processes and systems, which is now running the system, right? When you look at the whole internship program, it's completely systems based now, right? The system is taking care of it. We have mentors, we have sales webinars happening by the members of our team. I'm not even doing sales webinars anymore, which gives me the freedom to have conversations like this and keep building the brand. And I think I have built a hybrid system where you have recorded videos, but you also have live classes. And one of the best decisions that we have made is to make it cohort based. That kind of creates this community, start date, end date, because we have always did education in cohorts, colleges in cohorts, everything is in cohorts. You can't just buy a course and call that serious education. Then it's just like an upgraded version of a book where you are left all alone by yourself. So at the same time, I'm not like a professor who is teaching myself, right? That will not scale. So this hybrid model is working very well. Results are great. They say that the medium is the message. Message based on which medium is delivered becomes the message itself. So I feel that this whole system of cashbacks, which is forcing people to go through the entire course which I have recorded, is the message in itself, like it's the content in itself. Because imagine the 3-hour video I put on YouTube. It's not like just because it's free, it's not like the whole world is watching it, right? Nobody is going to, like, people want content which is snackable, right? Like Instagram, like, we had solid content, and then YouTube may also, we had 30-minute videos which became 15-minute videos, and now we went to 2-minute videos. Then Instagram may we have 20-second reels, and now YouTube also has reels. So this is like a race to the bottom, where you are literally trying to grab onto something which is slipping over from your hands, and that grabbing on is basically people's attention, right? So I think my biggest work, which still a lot of people don't realize, probably they will at a much later date, is that the art of getting someone's attention for 2 hours. How do you do it? Either you do a live class or teach them in person, but that is not scalable. So here the simplest method is that take their money and give it back only if they do the assignment. And do the assignment, they have to watch a 2-hour video. And now I am able to get people's attention for 2 hours. And imagine, I don't have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, but I have like more than 7,000 people who have joined the internship program, who have spent at least 15 to 20 hours watching my content. So that is like far more of a deeper impact. So I don't want 1 million people who follow me. I don't want 100,000 people who like me. I want 10,000 people who absolutely love me. And I think that's what Airbnb did in their early stages. It's far more difficult to get a small amount of people to absolutely love you than to get a million people to just follow you. So I think that's what is most interesting with the work that I do. And yeah, I will create probably more programs this year, advanced internship programs and everything. And let's see.
Great thoughts. Like more into capitalism with keeping the human emotions in the same way. I think you should try reading a book called The Fountainhead and the Atlas Shrugged by Renan.
Sure. I will definitely have a look at that. So thanks, Rushid. I think it was a wonderful conversation. All the best for your career.
Likewise.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
part
Thank you
of
very
the
much.
internship program and the community.
Sure.
So
we'll try to get into some premium groups as well going forward.
Yes, definitely. We are planning to start a bunch of things, but we just want to take it slow. because sometimes the slow way is the fast way, right?
Correct.
Like I believe that don't move fast and break things. Move slow and don't break things. Cool.
It
Chalo.
reminds me Kunal Shah's videos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
so more
admire.
or less ideology is
He
same.
has a lot of deep thoughts going on,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say that by any means I am there yet, but I think some of the things that he says, that just be curious and think from first principles, is
Exactly.
I think what I am naturally drawn to. So
Yeah.
nice, nice. Glad that
Cool.
you compared me with Kunal Shah. Someone that I look up to. So
I mean, like my whole homepage is filled with Kunal Shah's
his
videos.
tweets, no. In fact, I was thinking of writing a book with all of his thoughts and perspectives, because I am pretty
Yeah,
sure that
exactly.
he would never get around to writing a book. And I met him in one conference, and there was a person who was asking him, Kunal Shah, why don't you write all your thoughts in a book and give it to me? And he was like, this is the problem with Indian mindset. You just want notes, you just want something that is like given to you like organized way. But I was like, why not? I'm watching a lot of his videos anyway, and maybe I will just compile it into a book, and
Yeah,
call the book Inside Kunal Shah's Mind or something like that.
something like yeah, cool, cool.
Then all his fans will become my fans. It's an easy way to piggyback on someone else's
Exactly.
personal brand, and just get their personal brand rub off on you, and obviously probably get his attention also. He doesn't pay me any bow at all. If I tag him on Twitter, he doesn't reply. If I reply to it,
Yeah,
he doesn't reply. So this will probably get his attention.
straight.
Let's see. Chalo, anyway, have a great week ahead, and
Thank you very
I'll see you around. Bye bye.
much.